It's a tradition unlike any other here in the state of Minnesota. The Boys of Summer, representing communities far and wide, coming together to battle for bragging rights on the dime in the Class B State Amateur Baseball Tournament Round 2. Coming up next on PrepSpotlight.tv.
The 2020 Class B Minnesota Amateur Baseball Tournament is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Baseball Association and presented to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 is the hub for all things sports with the Xfinity Sports Zone. And Wings Financial. We're for people like you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Joe in Shakopee Joe Schlepper Stadium, host of this summer's Class B State Amateur Baseball Tournament. I am Eric Murphy, Phil McLaughlin on camera. We are back for the second weekend of action here in the Class B bracket. Winner moves on to the final weekend of action. Well, actually, it moves on to play tomorrow. The loser goes home for the winter. Next up, we've got Elko taking on Cold Spring. And we are almost actually about 2 minutes ahead of schedule. So how about that here at the Joe? The first game between Miesville and Champlain Park earlier. That game won by the Mudhens 5-2. They move on. They'll play Chanhassen, who has survived the first two rounds, the two-time defending champs. They'll play tomorrow. The winner of this contest will meet the winner of our next game, which will be Dundas and the Moorhead Brewers. And we are underway here for Game 2 between the Springers of Cold Spring batting and Elko, the Express, in the field. And we'll get you updated on all the players here as it's Grant Gunderson, by the way, on the mound for Elko, facing Brian Hansen, the leadoff hitter, center fielder for Cold Spring. Cold Spring, one of the traditional teams in this tournament. A lot of tradition, lots and lots of tradition with these teams representing Region 2B. 10-run Anoka in 8 innings in round 1. Back in the second round, looking to capture a 10th state championship. And then Hansen is at a 2-2 count now. Again, Grant Gunderson on the hill. He did not pitch last week, which is rare with the week off to see a different pitcher. And an ace as this one hit deep to right by Hansen. It's going to get out of the park. A leadoff home run for the center fielder for the Springers. Cold Spring picking up right where it left off last week with an early 1-0 lead. Brian Hansen, we're still 1 minute to 4 o'clock. This game, again, scheduled for a 4 p.m. first pitch. We're not even there yet, and we've got a 1-0 Springers lead. Cold Spring, the home run from Brian Hansen, and now it's Garrett Fox, the second baseman, stepping in. Fox dribbles that one to the left side, 0-1 the count. So again, Cold Spring, 10-run Anoka to get here into this contest. Knocked out the Moorhead Mudcats in region play to get here. 9-time Minnesota State champions, record 58 state tournament appearances, 22 top 3 finishes, including 3 straight from 2012 to 2015. Gunderson rears, backfires that one by Fox. 0-2 now the count. As for Elko, managed by Terry Fredrickson, the Express, another representative from Region 1B making it into the second weekend. The 0-2 pitch fouled off. Fuchs, 3 hits last week against Anoka, including a double and an RBI and a run scored. Swings and misses. So Gunderson comes right back and gets the strikeout after giving up the leadoff home run to Brian Hansen. Shortstop Jordan Barth will step in now for the Springers. He had 2 hits, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and a double. Also walked once last week against Anoka. Gunderson wasting no time coming to the plate. And Gunderson, by the way, Grant, 7-4 in the regular season. At an ERA of 4.4. As mentioned, did not pitch last week as this one's fired off into left field. A 1-out single for Barth. And the Springers on Gunderson early on. So I have some fun facts about these players that I'll work through. His manager, Dave Hickmeyer, nice email exchange with him this week. Gave me some fun facts about his players, some interesting tidbits about his lineup that we'll get to. Stepping in, the fourth batter in the order, Joe Dempsey. He is the right fielder for Cold Spring. Dempsey 3 hits last week as well. So the 2 through 4 spots in the order with Fox, Barth, and Dempsey last week, combining for 8 hits, 3 RBIs, and 3 runs scored in that 10-0 win over Anoka. With Hansen contributing with the leadoff home run, Barth on base, and now Dempsey up looking to do more damage. 1-0 count, and now it is 2-0. That one is in the dirt. That one spoiled to the right. 2-1 now the count. We're at Joe Schlepper Stadium. As mentioned in Shakopee, the Joe had to step in after New Ulm opted out of hosting state tournament play this year. So the teams, Class BC, had to scramble a little bit. Springfield holding steady on their hosting duties. Brought in Milroy to help them out. So that tournament going on. A lot of teams down there, a lot of players, a lot of action. We have that covered down there on PrepSpotlight.tv as well. As Gunderson comes to the plate, it's now a 3-1 count on Dempsey. On Shakopee, a recent host, they hosted the state tournament just 2 years ago, so the state board wanted to find somebody, a community that was equipped to handle the tourney. Shakopee stepped up. Gary Schlepper on the board. And here they are hosting. And how about that? Dempsey flies it out to center field. Dylan Thomas makes the catch, but scurrying to second base on that was Barth. So 2 outs, Barth now on second. Drew Bolson, the catcher, comes up. We're going to have a talk. Mike Fredrickson comes out to talk to Gunderson. And Drew Bolson, 1 hit last week's game, scored a run. Really one of the better setups here. Joe Schlepper Stadium in the state of Minnesota. Able to step in and host this tournament, and we are glad to be a part of it here at PrepSpotlight.tv for the first time. And 2-0 the count quickly on Bolson. Gunderson trying to work his way out of this one again. Brian Hansen with the leadoff home run. Barth singled, took second, and what amounted to a sac fly for Joe Dempsey. And now Bolson, a 3-0 count to him. Now 3-1. Last week, Brady Bean, Alex Smock, and Dylan Thomas did the pitching duties. Handle the pitching duties for Elko. Going with Gunderson here today, and he fights back into the count, now full, against the catcher Bolson. Bolson fouls it back. Of course, many of these teams with abbreviated seasons, talking to so many of the managers of the teams leading up to the tournament, all of them admitting it's kind of hard to get really a beat on your team. You usually play about 40 games. Most teams played about half that many. Cold Spring, in fact, went 12-9 in the regular season. So just about 3 games above 500, but they get into the tournament. They know what to do. Been here plenty of times. As Bolson now full count to him. He hits it to right. This is going to be tough to track down in the gap, and getting there and making the catch is Ryan Bastier for the third out. So Gunderson escapes further damage. It's 1-0 Springers off the leadoff home run from Hansen. Got off to an early start here at the Joe. Cold Spring and Elko started about 2 minutes early. We like to see that after a swift game earlier here between Meesville and Champlin Park. That game was over with an hour to spare. Teams were here on the auxiliary fields nearby getting ready. They got in there. They're hitting and then took fielding quickly. Got this thing started in Cold Spring. Ready to go. Got things started. Brian Hansen, a leadoff home run, and we have a 1-0 lead headed to the bottom of the first here as this Elko lineup will face Nick Pennick from Cold Spring. Pennick went 8 innings. Remember, it was a 10-run game. It only went 8 innings last week against Anoka, only surrendering 2 hits, striking out 4 and walking 2. He is the ace of the Cold Spring Springers. He will try to lead them into the third round, which will actually be played tomorrow. So the teams come down for the weekend. Last weekend, it was 1 game. Got a week off, allowing managers to throw their number 1 guy 2 weekends in a row. So Pennick again surrendering just 2 hits against Anoka. Will look to pitch Cold Spring into the next round, which will be against the winner of our next game, which will be Dundas and the Moorhead Brewers. And stake to that 1-0 lead, thanks to Brian Hansen's leadoff home run. Pennick's first pitch to the plate. Mitch Frederick, the second baseman, steps in for the Elko Express. Pennick will heat on that one, but a 2-0 count. So Elko again managed by Terry Fredrickson, representing Region 1B. Region 1, Dundas, Meesville, Elko, all moving on to the second round. Northfield out of that region as well. Northfield knocked off last night in the second round by Chanhassen. Hung tough, scored 3 times in the 9th inning, but not able to pull that one out as Pennick, a little wild here. And the opening base runner for Elko is on board. A 4-pitch walk. And that'll bring up Ryan Bastier, the right fielder. Bastier had an RBI last week. Their walk-off victory of the Moorhead Mudcats, the most exciting game here so far in the tournament, if you will. Elko with the walk-off victory. Ash Larson's bloop single in the bottom of the 9th brought in Mitch Frederick for the winning run. And Pennick gets a strike over, so 0-1 the count on Bastier. Elko making a 17th overall appearance in the state tournament. They won it all back in 2008. Looking to bunt, and it's a good one. Pennick thinks about second, rifles it to first to get the sure out. So Bastier moves Frederick to second base on the sacrifice bunt. Dylan Thomas, the center fielder, will step in. Thomas, big night. The opening round victory last week against Moorhead. 3 hits, 2 runs scored, 3 RBI. A double and a home run. Panic tries to bend that one in there. 1-1 the count. 1-0 Cold Spring. Leadoff walk to Mitch Frederick. He was sacked over by Bastier. And now Dylan Thomas at the dish, trying to get Elko right back into this thing. Kind of a check swing to no man's land. Panic is trying to beat him to the bag, and he does. So situation there where Cold Spring will take the out. Frederick moves up to third, but a plus play there. They'll give up the base for the out. The Springers will, and there are now 2 outs with Frederick standing on third. Travis Evanson comes to the plate. Evanson also with 3 hits and 2 RBI last week. The middle of the lineup getting it done for the Express in the opener. TJ, Lakeville North grad, Winona State player. Pennick rifles that one in. 1-1 the count. 2 outs. Mitch Frederick standing on third. He represents the tying run here in the bottom of the second inning for Elko. Pitch to the plate. Knocked to the right side. A lot of room over there. There's some room in the foul territory. And that one lands near the bullpen. Gets down to the turf. Jared Terrace, the first baseman, gave it a go but couldn't quite get there. So 1-2 the count now on the number 4 hitter in the Elko's lineup. That one bounced up the middle. Going to be a tough play. And getting to the ball is Barth, but he has no play. Elko ties it up as Frederick comes in to score on the infield hit by Evanson. He hit that one hard. Kind of chopped it into the ground, and that perhaps allowed Barth to get to it. Slowed it down just enough, but when he got there, not a chance. And Elko gets the run right back, tied at 1, 2 outs. Evanson on first. Ash Larson, the left fielder, comes in. Mentioned Ash, the bloop single, game-winning RBI. The opening round victory. Victory over the Moorhead Mudcats. The Moorhead Brewers will play next against Dundas. Two and one now the count. Larson, that bloop single, his lone hit. He also walked once in the win over the Mudcats. Pennick to the plate. This one to Barth, kind of takes a weird hop, but easily handles it. The out at second. After one, we're tied 1-1. Well, folks, last summer's Emmy-nominated documentary Town Ball Uniquely Minnesota is now available on Amazon Prime. Watch all 8 episodes and learn about the more than 100-year history of amateur baseball in Minnesota. Featured in that history, Joe Schlepper, one of the all-timers when it comes to state amateur baseball. I mean, talk about a guy that has done a ton. Obviously here in Shakopee, we're playing in the Joe, as they call it. Also helped build the stadium out there in Farming, the Farming Flames, helped Belgrade get things going. It was a featured player in the 1940s for the Cold Spring Springers. So a little synergy and connective tissue here in the state tournament. Schlepper played for Cold Spring over 70 years ago. In fact, tossed a perfect game against Little Falls in 1949. And state, amateur baseball is still a big deal here in the state of Minnesota. But back then, local celebrities, and that was a big, big deal when he threw that perfect game in 49. So fitting that 71 years later, here are the Cold Spring Springers. This crazy 2020 season playing at Joe Schlepper Stadium, trying to track down yet another state title. Last time the Springers did bring home the gold, 2014, part of a back-to-back run there, 13 and 14, bringing it home. We are in the second inning. This is Drew Van Looy, the third baseman, El Paso native. Now a mainstay here in the Springers lineup. 1-2 the count, and the check swing. Strikeout for Gunderson. This inning begins different than it did in the first. We saw Brian Hansen lead things off with a home run for the Cold Spring Springers. Elko battled back. Mitch Frederick walked on 4 pitches to lead off for Elko. Eventually moved to third base, and then a RBI single for TJ Evanson. That is how we got here tied up 1-1. Brad Olson, the left fielder, stepping in now with 1 out for Cold Spring. Two 2-0 the count. Olson 1 for 3 with 1 run scored in last week's win over Anoka. Mentioned that Grant Gunderson did not pitch in last week's game. 3 pitchers for Elko in that opening round victory, the walk-off victory of the Moorhead Mudcats. Maybe a little bit of strategy at some point, being able to throw your ace, the advantage of making it to the second week because you get an entire week off. We saw that with Neesville. Jacob Dickmeyer, who has been dominant here in 2 starts, pitching the Mudcats into the third round, but he will not be available tomorrow. We should see aces for the most part throughout the day here, as a 1-out walk issued to Olson. Brings up Jaron Terrace, the first baseman. Gunderson getting that initial out right away, losing control a little bit here, as it's a 1-0 count now to Terrace. Terrace did not have a hit last week, did score a run, and had an RBI. So still active and helping his team to those 10 runs. Popped up in the infield, camped under it, and bringing it in is Frederick. Second out. And Alex Jungles, the designated hitter, will step to the plate for the Springers. Jungles out of the DH spot in the number 9 spot. 2 hits, 2 runs scored, and an RBI last week. So giving them production is the throwback, and they've got him. They nail Olson at first. What a snap throw there by Mike Fredrickson. And that erases the threat for Cold Spring in the second. We'll head to the bottom of the second, 1-1, still the score. Back to live action here at the Joe Schlepper Stadium Class B state tournament. Top two spots in the brackets filled out. Chanhassen and Miesville moving on. We're now in the bottom of the bracket. The next two games here. We've got Cold Spring taking on Elko, then the nightcap coming up next. Here from the Joe and on PrepSpotlight.tv will be Dundas and the Moorhead Brewers. Nick Pennick pitching to the designated hitter for Elko, Jason Grimm. So to recap it, Brian Hansen for Cold Spring led off the game with a home run. And Elko small-balled it and worked after a leadoff walk. Worked Mitch Frederick all the way around, scoring on the TJ Evanson RBI chop single. Didn't even leave the infield, but no play at first, and 1-1 is our score here now in the bottom of the second. Cold Spring ace Nick Pennick a little frustrated there. That foul tip on an 0-2 pitch not held on to by Drew Bolson. Those two obviously a ton of games together. A little frustration there, just some gamemanship. He goes outside to try to get Grimm to chase. 1-2 now the count. Grimm was 0 for 4 in Elko's tourney opening win over the Moorhead Mudcats last week. It's worked back him into the count now, 2-2. Bottom of the second, 1-1 our score. It's the third time this at bat he's fouled it into the parking lot. Pennick surrendered just 2 hits all of last week, and this is going to be the second hit of the game already for Elko. Really nice at bat there by Grimm. Down 0-2 quickly, battled his way back into the at bat, got a pitch he liked, and golfs it into right center field for the leadoff single. Catcher Mike Fredrickson now to the plate. Time for a little history lesson here for Elko. The Fredrickson name all the way back to 1927. 12 Fredrickson brothers, known as the Fredrickson Brothers baseball team. And by the way, I got all this information from their website. A really great website. A lot of these teams throwing out a lot of information out there. And a story that was actually featured, the Fredrickson Brothers baseball team in the 1994 issue of Sports Illustrated. So we have a little discussion going on the mound. Pennick comes off as well. Working a sleeve there. It looked like Pennick wearing kind of a half sleeve. But I think he put it on his left arm. I'm not really sure. Just trying to stay loose out there. But not his throwing arm. That's the way it looked anyway. Manager Dave Hickmeyer came out, had a discussion with the umpire. Maybe to explain exactly what this pitcher needed to do there. We're back to game action. 1-0 count now. And again, nobody out. And Jason Grimm for the single to lead us off here in the bottom of the second. Mike Fredrickson, Elko's catcher, at the plate. Fredrickson squares to bunt. So again, the Fredrickson name going way back to the 1920s. Of course, Terry Fredrickson is the manager here for the Elko Express. Out of Region 1. And it's now a 3-0 count on Fredrickson. Fredrickson a hit and a run scored last week. Trying to hit the corner is Pennick. He does not. A 4-pitch walk is the second walk issued in this contest. Both times on 4 pitches. And of more concern right now is there is nobody out, and Elko has runners at first and second. Carson Blasing stepping to the plate. Blasing's going to bunt. Nice play made there by Bastier. Or, excuse me, by Terrace, the first baseman for Cold Spring. Blasing, a job well done. The sack bunt moves both runners up into scoring position. Second and third now, one out. Kyle Kraska, the third baseman, and the number 9 hitter stepping in now for Elko. Pressure situation for Pennick and the Springers. Right down the middle, popped up. Terrace is going to take a look at it, but it gets out of play into the tree to the right side. Kraska 0 for 4 last week. Infield drawn in. Cut anything down at the plate if they can. Nice pitch by Pennick. Just above the knees. 0-2 now the count. Big spot for Pennick. Surrendered just 2 hits and 8 innings of work last week, but he's in a jam here. He already surrendered a hit in the inning and a run last inning, but he gets the swinging strike 3. Pennick bears down against Kraska for a big second out. Well, back to the top of the lineup now, Mitch Frederick. Again, worked his way on base, a 4-pitch walk to start things off. Later came around to score on the Evanson RBI single. Swinging away to second base, should get the Springers out of the inning, and it does. Garrett Fox to Terrace, and Elko leaves 2 aboard, remains tied 2-2 after 2.
What's special about high school sports? The passion. The excitement. The memories.
Now a 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community. Connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
One, good one brewing here. In our mid-afternoon contest at the Joe Schlepper Stadium Class B State Amateur Baseball Tournament. We thank you so much for joining us here at PrepSpotlight.tv. I'm Eric Murphy. Be here for this contest and the nightcapper between the Moorhead Brewers and the Dundas Dukes. And we'll meet the winner of this contest between Elko and Cold Spring. And Alex Jungles was left standing at the plate as Olson was picked off first base. So Jungles, the DH, number 9 hitter, will lead things off here in the third. It's evened up. Each team with a run in the first inning. Did not score in the second. 1 run and 2 hits for each team. And Elko, that one will sting a little bit. Second and third, they had second and third and 1 out. Nick Pennick bared down, got the strikeout and the ground out to get out of it. So 2 left in scoring position. It remains 1-1. As Jungles steps to the plate, it has a 2-0 count. Grant Gunderson in for his 3rd inning of work here. Fires a strike, 2-1 the count. Jungles swinging away to short. Coming up and making the play, showing off that strong throwing arm is Carson Blasing. Go back to the top of the order to Brian Hansen, who led off the game with a home run. Hansen, Ricori grad. Many in the Cold Spring roster are. Played at St. Cloud State, played the Northwoods League. Showing he's a pretty good player with that leadoff home run. His dad, Steve, played in the 1981 Cold Spring State Championship squad. As we work through the second time in this order, Throw out some facts about these Cold Spring players. You'll see a lot of these guys connected in some way to that championship team or championship teams from the past. As Hansen this time flies out to right field. Bastier there to put him away. And 2 outs quickly here for Gunderson in the top of the third. Going to bring up Garrett Fox, the second baseman. He struck out his first time up. Fox also graduated from Rocori, played at Gustavus. He was on the 2010 Rocori State Championship baseball team. Swinging away to right. Stepping back and then moving in under it is Bastier. A 1-2-3 inning for Gunderson. Elko go to the bottom of the third now. Still tied at 1 apiece. Nick Pennick for Cold Spring out for his third inning of work. The ace of the Springers worked his way out of a big-time jam in the bottom of the second inning. Runners on second and third with 1 out. You got a huge strikeout and then a ground out to get out of it. You mentioned Pennick gave up just 2 hits in 8 innings of work. As Cold Spring blasted their way past Anoka in just 8 innings, 10-0 last week. But Elko's touched him up for 2 hits already, and they pushed 1 run across. Both runs for these teams came in the first inning. And Elko has proven to play some small ball here today. Ryan Bastier, the right fielder, will step in, swings away, fouls it off. Sacrifice bunt in the first inning for Bastier. Also has 3 putouts here in the first 3 innings of play in the field. So a busy day for Ryan. Swing and a miss, 0-2 the count. Bastier batted .389 in the regular season. Pennick takes care of him here on 3 pitches. So Bastier down on strikes. And that'll bring up Dylan Thomas, the center fielder. Thomas grounded out the terrace at first base in the first inning. Thomas also saw some time in the mound. Elko's opening win over the Mudcats. He'll rip this one into right field. 1 out, 1 on. Thomas looked good on that swing. This is going to be a battle here for the ace Cold Spring in this contest. Elko can swing the bats. Their 3rd hit of the game. Travis Evanson, the first baseman, RBI single. Remember, he hammered it into the ground. It actually never made it into the outfield. He was making a nice play on it at short was Jordan Barth, but he had no play. Mitch Frederick was on third. He scampered home. That is how Elko got on the scoreboard in the first inning. So here he is with a runner on. Is Pennick trying to hold Thomas close. A little different this year in this tournament that the first 2 rounds are single elimination. So we mentioned managers having to throw their aces and kind of have some strategy here about what do you do if you move on tomorrow into the double elimination portion of the bracket, and obviously you got to get there, so you got to throw your top arms. Cold Spring is doing here with Pennick. 0 on the count on Evanson. 0-2 now as Evanson fouls 2 back. Evanson batted .333 in 18 games in the regular season for Elko. Fights that one off, still 0-2. Dylan Thomas on first base. Ryan Bastier struck out on 3 pitches. Thomas blasted a line drive single into right. Another base runner. Elko's had base runners in every inning so far. And this one's to left. It's going to be fair. Keep an eye on Thomas. He chugs around second. He'll get into third. Throw goes to second base. First and third now. 1 out with Ash Larson coming to the dish. Back-to-back singles. Elko again threatening. Continuing to apply pressure here on Cold Spring. All 3 innings they've had a runner at least reach third base. Left him stranded last inning. See if they can cash in here. 1 out, runners on the corners. Pennick to the dish, 0-1 the count. That's low outside. Ash Larson grounded out to short his last time up. We mentioned he had the RBI, game-winning RBI single in the opener last week, the walk-off win over the Moorhead Mudcats. Pennick misses again, 2-0 the count. Time called at the dish. Ash also played 18 games in the regular season. Also batted .333. Elko's lineup can straight rake, and he is a little bit, couldn't quite read that off-speed pitch. So swing and a miss, 2-1 the count. Pennick reared back, low fastball firing in. Larson committed to the swing. 2-2 now. We saw Pennick do this with runners at second and third and 1 out last inning. Bared down and got the big strikeout. He's back into the count, 2-2. Larson able to stay alive. Same pitch, same result. Larson fighting it off, still 2-2 the count. Trying to time that fastball from Pennick. Pennick trying to get a big strikeout and a big moment in back-to-back innings. See if he goes off speed. He does, and he gets the swing and a miss. Larson, I think his argument there would be that it was a foul tip and the ball hit the ground, but looks like coaching staff for Elko wants to make sure. Down here comes manager Fredrickson out of the dugout. He's saying foul tip hit the ground. That's his argument. Umpire says no, strike 3. So Pennick gets another one in a tough spot here. It's like the bottom of the second inning. So now it's 2 outs, runners still at the corners for the DH, Justin Grimm. He singled his last time up. Remember, Grimm worked that great at bat. Fell behind 0-2, worked his way back into it, got a pitch he liked, and golfed it into right field. He's up in a big spot here, 1-0 count. Pennick to the plate. The steal is on, and coming home, the double steal, and he's out at the plate. Cut down trying to steal. Dylan Thomas, and no hesitation from Dylan. He was coming home. He thinks he got under the tag. So Elko a little fired up to end this inning, but after 3, we're still not at 1 apiece. Top 4, 1-1, still our score. That despite Elko knocking on the door each of the last 2 innings. The stranded runners at 2nd and 3rd in the 2nd inning. And then in the 3rd inning, the runners at the corners, in 2 outs, they tried the double steal. Dylan Thomas was on 3rd. And when he saw Evanson break, he broke for home, but a great job by the infield of Cold Spring to get it right back in. The tag applied. They beat him by a mile. As Cold Spring now, Jordan Barth singles to start off the top of the 4th for the Springers. So we'll see if Cold Spring can carry some of that momentum they've picked up here by getting out of some crucial jams and bring it back to the lineup here. Their only run coming in the 1st inning on the Brian Hansen leadoff home run. He just kind of knocked that thing out, kept carrying out to right, got just over the fence. So Barth on for the 2nd time here, starting shortstop. And following him on the first pitch is Joe Dempsey, so back-to-back singles. And now Cold Spring, a bit of a rally here. Grant Gunderson had settled in nicely. He now faces a situation where he has runners at 1st and 2nd with nobody out. And Drew Bolson coming to the plate. Bolson flew out to right field his first time up. Bolson, their St. Cloud area player with the St. Cloud Tech. And he currently is playing at St. Cloud State. He showed bunt. Pitch is high, 1-0 the count. And again, we talked about the connection past and present here with Cold Spring. Bolson's father, the MVP for the Springer State Championship teams in 2000 and 2001. So here he is at a big spot. A 1-1 game as Gunderson swings back and lets the runners know he's paying attention. We're in the top of the 4th, Class B State Amateur 2nd round. Bolson pulls back again, and again it's a ball, 2-0 the count. So now it's Coach Hinkmeyer's opportunity to play small ball. We've seen Elko do that a couple times here. And they did it in a very similar situation back in the 2nd inning. So the first 2 batters got on, and bunted them over. And Bolson, pretty hard bunt. Gunderson gets there. It goes off his glove. Everybody's going to be safe. Bases loaded for Cold Spring with no outs. And you could see Gunderson, as he got to that ball, was thinking about going to third. Bolson bunted that one pretty hard. And it looks like they're going to give him a hit. That's what they're going to put up there for now. Would have been a tough play, I guess, is the decision there for Gunderson, but it looked like he was thinking potentially going to third. And the ball ricocheted off his glove, so bases loaded. Nobody out. First pitch to Drew Van Looy, the third baseman, is a ball. Well, 2 pitches now, so it's 2-0 is the count. Now, I had it right. That's what you get for trusting the scoreboard. 1-0 the count. Second pitch is in. Now it's 2-0. Van Looy struck out in the second inning. Drew, a former Southwest and UND player, Southwest Minnesota down in Marshall. It's from that area. Wabasso graduate. That one in the dirt. So Gunderson in a tight spot here now. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a 3-0 count on Van Looy. Van Looy took a couple steps looking back at the umpire, but the strike call comes in. 3-1, still a hitter's count. See if Van Looy's jacked up and ready to swing. He does not. Inside pitch called for a strike. Full count. So Gunderson, after the visit from his catcher Fredrickson, settles in. 3-2. Quickly back to the plate, but that's too far inside, and he walks in a run. The walk to Van Looy. 2-1 now. Cold Spring with the lead. An even bigger issue for Elko. The bases are still loaded, and they still don't have an out. Brad Olson, the left fielder, steps up. And Olson walked his first time up and then was thrown out at first, if you remember. Fredrickson threw it behind him. Quickly an 0-1 count from Gunderson. Outside pitch, and he goes right down the third base line this time, Fredrickson. You got to watch it out with him back there. The quick throws. And coming way off the bag there was Joe Dempsey. But Dempsey got nailed by that ball. So he's trying to walk that one off. Fredrickson throws pretty hard. I don't know if that gets by him and all the way to the bag. I think Kraska maybe makes the tag there. So Fredrickson did a good job controlling things, but it's Dempsey right now having a little bit of trouble shaking this off. The ball did hit him in the back of the legs. It's hard to tell if that's what he's trying to work out here. He's almost acting like maybe he pulled something, trying to get back to the bag as opposed to taking that shot off his legs. One and two now the count. As Olson swings through that one. Gunderson trying to work a little of the Nick Pennick magic. Pennick's worked out of back-to-back jams. Gunderson in a big one here. Bounces all the way to the plate. And Fredrickson, good stop, keeping it in front of him. 2-2 the count. Seeing how important catcher play can be here in this tournament. Fredrickson having a pretty good game behind the dish so far. So 2-2 the count. Still nobody out. Bases loaded. Gunderson. And swung on and line drive just beyond the bullpen in left field. Count remains 2-2. Olson also a Ricori grad. Played at Concordia Moorhead. Trying to get his team a run here. Spoils that one to the left side. It will get out of play. Olsen thought about it, but high and outside, full count. So Gunderson walking the tightrope here. 3-2 count, nobody out, bases loaded. Swung on and knocked into right field. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. And Ricori now up 4-1 off the 2 RBI single from Brad Olsen. We'll have a meeting at the mound here. There is action in the bullpen, and it does look like Terry Fredrickson's going to make a move. So that'll be the book on Gunderson. 4 runs on 5 hits in 4 innings pitched. Well, actually, he'll get credit for 3 innings pitched. We'll step away and give you the specs on the new pitcher right after this.
What's special about high school sports? The passion, the excitement, the memories.
Down on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community, connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
Welcome back to Joe Schlepper Stadium in Shakopee. Elko in a bit of a jam here. They're going to change pitchers. Grant Gunderson, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for the Express. Battled pretty hard here, but Cold Spring got him into a hot mess. Bases loaded, no outs. He walked in a run. Then a 2 RBI single by Brad Olsen. So it's 3 runs in so far here in the inning. A 4-1 Springers lead. Still nobody out. Runners on first and second, and Nick Dorfman in out of the bullpen. Stepping to the dish for Cold Spring is Jaron Terrace, the first baseman. He flew out to second base his first time up. Dave Hinkmeyer, the manager of Cold Spring, still looking to apply more pressure and play more small ball here. This is kind of how things started. The first 2 batters in the inning got on. Drew Bolson then tried to bunt them over, but Gunderson couldn't glove it. They gave him a single. That loaded the bases and kind of broke open the dam eventually for Cold Spring. That bunt goes foul. 1-1 the count. So Dorfman comes in. He did not pitch last week. Gunderson didn't pitch last week either. So these are all new arms here in the tournament in this game for Elko. Dorfman went 1-0 in 3 games pitched in the regular season. Through 13 2/3 innings. Bunt is still on. Pulled back on it, but strike 2 called. 1-2. Nobody out, first and second, 3 runs already in for the Springers. That one swung on. I think it's going to stay in play or in foul territory, but in the park. but no one able to track that one down. So Terrace stays alive. 1-2 still the count. Absolutely gorgeous day here in Shakopee, and not quite as hot as it was last weekend. And it was welcomed all the players and the fans. Terrace skies that one in the infield, shielding from the sun, and then hauling it in. This is Kyle Kraska for out number 1. And a big out as Dorfman comes in out of the bullpen, and so far so good. Alex Jungles, the designated hitter, number 9 hitter. Mentioned he had 2 hits last week, though. Don't be fooled by his spot in the batting order. Jungles also a Concordia Moorhead player. Corey grad. And again, his father previously had played at Cold Spring. Dave Jungles on the 81, 86, and 96 state championship team. So he was a longtime player for Cold Spring and very successful. Pitch to Alex way inside. 1-1 the count. Drew Van Looy at second base. Brad Olson at first. 1 out, 3 runs already in for the Springers. That one swung on and driven to left. Van Looy is going to get the third. They're going to wave him home. There should be a play. The throw home is cut off. Van Looy slides in for the 4th run of the inning for Cold Spring. RBI single for Jungles. The Springers trying to take control of this thing here in the 4th. Just over the glove of Carson Blasing at short. Now Van Looy, I wasn't sure Hinkmeyer was going to send him over there.
Center fielder Ryan Hansen.
And testing the arm of Dylan Thomas out there. Dylan got it in, but it was cut off. And here is Hansen, who has a home run already in this game, but skies high to center field. Thomas camps under it. Out number 2. Hansen a little fired up there. Swung on the first pitch.
Second baseman Garrett Fox.
That'll bring up Garrett Fox, and the 9th batter to hit here for Cold Spring in the inning. 4 runs in, 5-1 the advantage now. Top of the 4th inning. Fox is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a flyout. McDorfman came in relief of Grant Gunderson. Now try to minimize further damage. Nice pitch there. Called a ball. 1-1 the count. Dorfman goes right back to the same pitch, a little bit more outside this time. Fox knocks it out to the right side. 1-2 the count. Goes right back to it. And Fox somehow stays alive on that pitch. Fouls it back to the backstop. Stays 1-2. We've got 2 outs now. Runners at first and second. Cold Spring with 4 runs in already here. Really trying to hammer down in this inning, get a little separation from Elko. Outside corner. Dorfman knew it. Frederickson knew it. Called third strike. 9 batters come up, 4 runs come in, 5-1. Cold Spring after 3.5. 4 runs on 4 hits, 9 batters come to the plate for Cold Spring in the top of the 4th inning. And they give ace Nick Pennick, who has worked out of jams in both the 2nd and the 3rd inning, a little cushion. 4-run lead. Cold Spring breaking that 1-1 tie. And Pennick had to work out of it his last 2 innings, 2nd and 3rd, and 1 out in the 2nd inning. 1st and 3rd, and 1 out in the 3rd inning, and he got out of it without giving up any runs. Now he's facing the designated hitter Jason Grimm, who singled on him the last time up. And Grimm was actually left standing at the dish in the 3rd as they tried the double steal, but Dylan Thomas cut down at the plate. Barth at short. Nice glove, nice throw. 1 out for Cold Spring.
Catcher, Mike Frederickson.
Barth. Nice player there at shortstop for Cold Spring. Another Ricori guy, currently playing at Augustana, by the way. Batted in the 4 spot for a national championship team in Division II. One of the young guns here in this tournament. In our next game, you're going to see a nice mix for Dundas. One of the more seasoned teams that you'll see in the tournament. And they just know how to get it done when they get here. Cold Spring, not much different. Nice when you can infuse a little youth and talent into the lineup as well. So an 0-2 count now on the catcher, Mike Frederickson. He walked his first time up, trying to fight one off to right field. That's twice now he's gone that way, but both times it has stayed foul. 0-2, still the count, 1 out. Cold Spring starter Nick Pennick hoping for a cleaner inning. Elko has had a batter on in each of the first 3 frames. And we mentioned Pennick working out of a hot water situation twice the last 2 innings. Staying alive on that swing is Frederickson. Frederickson, another 300 hitter in 17 games in the regular season. That shot to third, just foul. Nice at bat for Frederickson. Dumps it into left field. A 1-out single. Elko all 4 innings now with base runners. Pennick kind of has that droop shoulder look on the mound. Can't believe he lost that at bat after getting ahead of Frederickson. Now having to work out of it again. Carson Blasing at the dish. Swing and a miss, 0-1 the count. High fly to left field. I think it's going to stay fair. It is. But getting there just in time to catch it is Brad Olson. He read that one well off the bat. And it's 2 outs now for Pennick in Cold Spring as the number 9 hitter, third baseman Kyle Kraska steps to the plate. And Blasing's hit initially looked like that thing was going to slice foul, but it actually stayed fair. Got pretty high in the sky. Olson able to get over there. And now it's Kraska who struck out his first time up, swings and misses here. 0-1 the count. Chop toward the Cold Spring dugout. 0-2. Goes way outside, tries to get him to chase. Bounces away from Bolson. And scampering to second is Fredrickson. The third straight inning. Well, all 4 innings now, actually. Runner in scoring position for the Express. But a 1-2 count. Pennick still up in the count here on the number 9 hitter in the Elko lineup. The plate spoils that one in the dirt. Pennick giving a little love to Bolson there, saying thank you for stopping that one. 2-2 the count. And a swing and a miss. Pennick works out of a jam again. And after 4, it remains 5-1 Cold Spring. Watching live state tournament action, the Class B bracket here at Joe Schlepper Stadium. I am Eric Murphy, PrepSpotlight.tv, proud to bring you the state tournament in Class A, B, and C this year. A live look at the Joe. And we are moving on to the 5th inning now. It's been a good game, plenty of action in every inning. Cold Spring started us off with a leadoff home run from Brian Hansen. And Elko, who has threatened in every inning so far, were able to push across the tying run in the bottom of the first. So 1-1 was the score then. It stayed that way until the top of the 4th inning when Cold Spring sent 9 hitters to the plate, got 5 hits, scored 4 runs. Get a little bit of a separation here. Elko got a runner to second in the bottom of the 4th. Once again, all 4 innings having runners in scoring position, but Nick Pennick continues to work his way out of jams. And Cold Spring now looking to wrestle complete control over this thing perhaps here in the top of the 5th, and the best hitter at the plate in Jordan Barth. He is 2 for 2, 2 singles, and he scored a run. Played pretty good shortstop for them as well. We mentioned he's currently playing at Augustana. He batted 4th on a national championship Division II team. Second inning for Nick Dorfman on the mound for Elko. Came in relief of Grant Gunderson. Gunderson went 3, gave up 4 runs. In fact, the 5th run charged to him as well. They gave up 5 runs, but Dorfman able to minimize the damage as Barth finds the gap. This could be 2. Bounces off the wall. Barth will cruise into second base with a leadoff double here in the 5th inning for Cold Spring. A 3 for 3 day so far for Jordan. Cold Spring right back in business with Joe Dempsey, the right fielder, 4th hitter in the lineup. Flew out his first time up, singled, later scored. Just last inning. Nobody out, runner at second. Ripped into left. Barth had to wait on a line drive, but they're going to send him. Testing the throwing arm. The throw is cut off. Barr slides home with the 6th run for Cold Spring. Back-to-back hits here. Dempsey, the RBI single. Barr showing off some of that speed, and manager Dave Hinkmeyer recognizing and trusting some of that speed. No hesitation in sending Barr to the plate. So still nobody out. Dempsey at first. Drew Bolson, the catcher, steps in. And when Bolson was up last inning after Barth and Dempsey had gotten on, Hinkmeyer was going to play a small ball and bunt the guys over, apply a little pressure to Gunderson, the starting pitcher for Elko, get runners at second and third with 1 out. Ended up getting on base after the bunt as Bolson now tees off into left field. 3 consecutive hits and no outs to open the 5th inning for Cold Spring. The bullpen quickly getting active for Elko. This thing threatening to get away from the Express. Drew Van Looy comes up, struck out his first time up, walked. An RBI walk. The base is loaded. Elko walked in a run, and here he's going to perhaps bunt. Pulls it back on the high pitch. So Hinkmeyer goes right back to the small ball with no outs. Willing to give up the out here. Get a couple more guys in scoring position. Swinging away on that pitch, 1-1 the count. Now showing bunt again. Again, it's a ball, 2-1 now. Trying to keep the Elko defense guessing. Previous pitch, maybe just trying to sneak one past the infield, drawn in a little bit. Thinking of the threat of the bunt, he was going to swing away again there. Takes the pitch. It's called a strike, 2-2. Nobody out, runners on first and second. 1 run already in. There are 3 consecutive hits to open the inning for Cold Spring. Pitch is outside, full count. We saw Van Looy prove his last time up that he can really take good at-bats. Good eye up there. Former college baseball player at the Division II and Division I levels. And he swings on and drives that one to the gap. It's going to get down. We'll see if they send him. Nope. Well, initially they were going to hold him, and now the throw gets almost all the way in. But coming in to score is Joe Dempsey, and that was a little awkward. As Dempsey got the third, he was held. The ball was bobbled out there in left field. And they're going to give Elko, I believe, an error on that play. Bolson moves to second. Van Looy with the single into left. And now it's Brad Olson's turn to bat. He is 1 for 1, a 2 RBI single his last time up. Nobody out, first and second. Same situation. We'll see how long the leash is here from Terry Fredrickson on Dorfman. And that one popped into left. It will be caught for the first out of the inning. Ash Larson puts away Olson.
First baseman,
Jaron Terrace comes to the plate now. 2 flyouts to the infield for Jaron. So, you know, he'd love to get in on the hit parade here. 10 hits now for the Springers in this game, 7 runs. Dorfman comes over the plate. Terrace knocks this one into right and just out of the reach. Evanson, the first baseman, got over there, but not in time. So 0-1 the count after the foul ball. Shot down the line, but foul. So Terrace getting the timing down on Dorfman this time. But he is in an 0-2 hole. Last week we saw kind of a similar situation where Dundas against Chaska just knocking on the door inning after inning before the floodgates opened about midway through the game. They pounded out 23 hits in that contest. Obviously a long way to go for Cold Spring to get there, but 10 hits already. We're not even through 5 innings, and now we've got a runner hung up, trying to get to third. The ball is dropped. Both runners will move up. Bolson in safe at third. Van Looy scampers in on the backside to second. So that one was in the dirt, and Bolson was just caught in no man's land, so Fredrickson down to third base. But Kraska cannot hold on to it, and it's been that kind of day here for Elko. They had Bolson dead to rights, but don't get the out. Now second and third, and still only one out. A 1-2 count. Swung on, and line drive to second base. So Terrace is the second out. Harris yet to get one out of the infield. He's a little disappointed heading back. That infield drawn in, it looked initially like Mitch Frederick possibly over his head, but then jumped and was able to easily grab that one. Hansen to short, bobbled a bit, strong throw, and they get him. Just barely. That was actually Jungle's first pitch swinging, the out to short. So 2 runs across for Cold Spring in the 5th inning. They add to their lead now 7-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th at the Joe.
What's special about high school sports? The passion, the excitement, the memories.
Down on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community, connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
Elko stepping in the bottom of the 5th inning, now looking at a 7-1 deficit as Mitch Frederick, the leadoff hitter, and second baseman steps in. He walked his first time up and scored at the time the tying run in the bottom of the 1st, grounded out to second his last time up, and he goes right back to second again. Handling it easily is Garrett Fox. The throw to Terrace at first, and a quick out for Nick Pennick and the Cold Spring Springers. Ryan Bastier will come in. Ryan sacrificed bunt in the first. He struck out in the third. And what Nick Pennick would love right now would be a clean inning. Pennick has battled out there, obviously only given up the 1 run on 5 hits. And Elko has had a base runner every inning, and they've gotten a runner in scoring position every inning as well. Look at Barth, dive for that ball. And Elko's going to have another base runner. That one somehow stayed fair right down the line. We saw a similar play earlier, only it was higher in the sky, so that allowed Brad Olson to get over and make the play. This time Barth, a long run, tries to dive to make the catch, cannot. Ends up as a single for Bastier. And Dylan Thomas will come to the plate now. Thomas made some noise his last time up. He singled, got all the way to third, and then remember they tried the double steal. Thomas was on third. He came home but was cut down at the plate. The last great scoring opportunity for Elko. Way outside, that'll move the runner up as it gets away from Bolson. Taking second base is Bastier. And here we go again, the Express. All 5 innings with a runner in scoring position. We mentioned Pennick in the first game against Anoka, 10-0, 10-run rule game after just 8 innings. Only surrendered 2 hits. He's got 6 hits, or touched for 6 hits so far here this afternoon. And again, continually having to work out of it here. Nobody out, runner on second. Elko looking for something to get back into this thing. 2-1 the count, now 2-2. Swung on and staying alive is Thomas. Thomas also got on the mound last week. That exciting game against the Moorhead Mudcats. Elko able to walk it off. A single in the bottom of the 9th inning. Inside, way inside. A little heat on that one. Count is now full. For the regular season, Thomas by far and away the top hitter, a .460 batting average on a 3-2 count inside pitch. First and second, nobody out. Thomas gleefully takes that walk. The Elko faithful coming to life here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Travis Evanson steps in. Evanson had the RBI single in the first inning. He also singled in the third. So this is a tough spot for Pennick, right in the heart of the Elko order. First and second, nobody out. A single and a walk. Pennick hits the outside corner, 0-1. Olson squeezing it a little tight there, trouble getting it out of his glove. Oh, Pennick inside on a couple batters here so far. Going way in. Presumably trying to set up the outside pitch at some point. 1-1 the count. There he goes, curveball knocked into left field. They're going to send the runner. And he should score easily and will. Bastier makes it a 7-2 game off the RBI single from Travis Evanson. And Elko trying to work their way back into it. Still nobody out. And still runners at first and second. So here we go again. You wonder how long Hinkmeyer, well, as I say that, a huge pop-up here on the first pitch and a big out. That's Ash Larson popping out. That's actually the second out of the inning. may have said that there were no outs, but that is actually the second out of the inning. So big pitch there from Pennick. Come right back after giving up the RBI single. Very next pitch gets a fly out to first base. And Jason Grimm, the DH, will come up. Singled his first time up, grounded out to short in the fourth inning. He rips this one to left, but settling in on the line drive and snagging it is Brad Olson, out number 3. Elko does get one run, 7-2 after 5.
Steve O'Neill and Gary Schlepper for getting the field a great fight for this summer. Thank you to all of our volunteers who came together on such short notice so we can host the Class B state tournament during Saturday. It couldn't have been done without all the volunteers and the support of the city of Shakopee.
We're midway through our Class B second round matchup between Cold Spring and Elko. It is the Springers with a 7-2 advantage as they're going to touch up the field for us a little bit here. This hard-working grounds crew at Joe Schlepper Stadium. Just a beautiful, beautiful setting. Again, the state tournament supposed to be hosted by the city of New Ulm, but they decided to opt out due to COVID concerns. Extremely understandable, or very understandable there for New Ulm's decision makers to do that. And it kind of sent the NBA scrambling a little bit, but able to quickly throw it together. Get the Class B tournament here in Shakopee. This is our second weekend of action, the bottom side of the Class B bracket. Chanhassen moved on last night, squeezed by Northfield. Northfield made things interesting, scoring 3 times in the ninth inning. Ended up losing by a run, so Chan with 2 close victories, but the 2-time defending champs do get into the double elimination point of the bracket. Now remember, that's different from years past. In years past, you just have to get out of the first round, then you get into the double elimination portion. This year, you have to win the first 2 to get in, and that double elimination portion does begin tomorrow afternoon. So Chan moved on. Miesville with a 5-2 victory over the Champlain Park Low Gators. The first game here this afternoon, and now it's Cold Spring and Elko mixing it up. And the leadoff hitter here in the top of the 6th inning for Cold Spring is the leadoff hitter in the order, Brian Hansen. He led things off in the first with a home run, has flown out his last 2 times up. Hansen, a former Northwoods League player, a lot of experience with him. Now facing a 1-2 count. Nick Dorfman still on the mound for Elko. He came in relief in the 3rd inning. He's given up 2 runs, both in the top of the 5th. Elko able to get 1 back in the bottom of the 5th inning as Dorfman paints the corner. Hansen doesn't love the call, but it is the first out. Dorfman hoping to settle in a little bit here. It looks like an arm is ready for Elko if Dorfman gets into any kind of trouble. Garrett Fox now stepping in. Fox is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice in this game. 17 combined hits in the contest. 10 for Cold Spring, 7 for Elko. Swings through that pitch, 1-1 the count. Mentioned Fox, a member of the 2010 Rocori State Championship team. Reaches out, knocks that one to short. Up and handling it is Blasing. 2 batters, 2 outs.
Shortstop, Jordan Barr.
Well, they had 1 3-up, 3-down situation here in this contest so far. And this will be the toughest out for Dorfman of this inning, no doubt. Jordan Barth, he's already 3 for 3, 2 singles, a double, 2 runs scored. He's played a whale of a game at short as well. After getting the quick strike, Dorfman working quickly. Outside corner just misses it. 1-1 the count. Barth will knock that one into right or left center field. And he is 4 for 4 with his third single of the game. Going to bring up Joe Dempsey. Dempsey flew out his first time up, but wreaking a bit of havoc in his last 2 plate appearances. 2 singles. He's got an RBI. He has scored in each of the last 2 innings. So he and Barth doing a ton of damage here in the middle of the order for Cold Spring. Goes to the right side. That'll be fair. Will it drop? It will. And Barth running hard will get into third. Well, Hinkmeyer thought potentially he kept waving him as Barth was cruising into third base. Looked like maybe he wanted to try it. Wanted to see where the cutoff throw went first. But it is 2 outs now. Runners at first and third. As Dempsey and Barth continue to rake here. Each of them now with 3 hits in the last 3 innings of play. Drew Bolson, the catcher, comes up. He also has 2 hits in each of the last 2 innings, plus a run scored. You write that lineup card in every day. This is what you want out of the heart of your order. Bolson sounds like maybe he broke his bat. Ground ball to third. Strong throw over, getting him easily is Kraska. And Elko gets out of it without giving up a run. 7-2 the score as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Second round action in the Class B state tournament. Joe Schlepper Stadium live on PrepSpotlight.tv. I'm Eric Murphy. And we've got the Elko Express trying to battle back here against the Cold Spring Springers. Cold Spring up 7-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. They're going to perhaps work our a trivia in on the little tidbit we gave you earlier on the connection of Joe Schlepper as we sit in Joe Schlepper Stadium, an icon here in Shakopee. But also, one time, one of the more popular baseball players for the Cold Spring Springers. We mentioned he threw that perfect game in 1949 against Little Falls. Just handed a sheet of paper. They assume we'll use that as a trivia question here. But a lively ballpark here. Last weekend and this weekend, remember, there's a restriction, 250 people total. The team's doing a good job of selling tickets. These programs travel well. For the most part, I would say there's social distancing. But people out here having a good time. The end of the summer is near. State Amateur Tournament tradition Very rich tradition here in the state of Minnesota. 3-0 count, so Pennick still looking for that clean inning for Cold Spring. He has continually worked his way in and out of jams. Elko, again, all 5 innings so far, runner in scoring position. He works his way back after a 3-0 count. He'll get the ground out. That throw from Fox made Terrace reach for it a little bit. Mike Fredrickson taken care of there for the first out. Arson Blasing steps up now. A sac bunt back in the second inning, flew out in the fourth. And right back up the middle. Nope, cutting it off is Fox, throwing on the run and making a nice play for out number 2. That one, Fox got a tremendous jump on that ball. I'm telling you, we've seen balls hit a lot less hard than that here in this tournament and made its way through the infield. So great jump by Fox and a nice throw on the run. Well, Cold Spring clicking so far here in this inning is timeout called. Pennick in the middle of his throw. Kraska called a timeout. Called time, and Pennick does what you're taught, which is just continue to throw. You don't want to injure yourself. Fires it into the dirt, so no pitch. And the first pitch of the at-bat is in there for a strike, 0-1. Kraska has struck out twice here today. And Pennick kind of spins out on that one as he went way inside again. A little low, ball 2. Swing and a miss. Count is even. 2-2 to Kraska, the third baseman. The number 9 hitter here in the Elko order. Swung on and missed again, strike 3. So Pennick finally gets the clean inning. 1, 2, 3 through 6. Cold Spring in control, up by 5 runs.
What's special about high school sports? The passion, the excitement, the memories.
Down on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community, connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
Billy, somebody get it? Tom? Tom? Yeah, he played for Cold Spring through the perfect game. Cold Spring.
Well, they do indeed do the trivia question. Joe Schlepper, the 1949 perfect game against Little Falls, playing for the Cold Spring Springers. Took a while, but somebody got it. And I don't know, they said 2 scoops of ice cream, I guess, is the what you win if you get the trivia here. So state amateur baseball and amateur baseball, good to have it back. Crowd involved. Put on a good show here, as are these teams in the Class B bracket second round in Cold Spring. In control here as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Drew Van Looy swings and misses. He's the first out here in the 7th inning as Nick Dorfman on to pitch again. Now in his 4th inning of work for Elko. Nick has done a nice job in relief of Grant Gunderson. Brad Olson, the left fielder, comes up. And Brad has an RBI, 2 RBI single. Back in the 4th inning, so he is 1 for 3 coming in. Quick stoppage of play with the music not stopping. So these pitchers work very quickly. This is not the major leagues, folks. We don't need pitch clocks here in amateur baseball. These guys get up and throw strikes. 1-0 count as I say it. It's now 2-0. They throw quickly to the plate anyway. In amateur ball. Dorfman gets one across, 2-1 the count now. 7-2 our score, 12 hits for the Springers. Elko, no slouch at the dish either with 7 hits. In fact, in the first 5 innings. And they had a runner in at least scoring position against Cold Spring starter Nick Pennick. Pennick finally got the 1-2-3 inning he was thirsting for in the 6th inning. See if his offense can pick him up. As a nice play at second base made by Mitch Frederick for out number 2. And now Dick Dorfman cruising through the Cold Spring lineup suddenly. So who knew that we had to wait 7 innings to let the pitching completely settle in here. Jaron Terrace steps in. Jaron still trying to get it out of the infield. 3 pop-ups, well, 2 pop-ups and a line drive, all in the infield. And a 1-1 the count on Terrace, first baseman. And Jaron gets into the hit parade. A 2-out single to center. Got to bring up Alex Jungles. Jungles had an RBI single back in the 4th inning. He grounded out his other 2 times up. Nice pitch by Dorfman, bending that one back over so quickly. An 0-2 count on Jungles. Jungles, check swing. Is that throw? Nobody was covering. And stealing on the play was Terrace. Kind of a strange play there. Fredrickson threw it down. Not one person was covering. Pausing at short, Frederick at second. I think I think the count was 2 strikes perhaps on Jungles. A lot of action there, so I'm not sure if it was a check swing and they're trying to call here to see if maybe he went around. Possibly what the discussion is. Admittedly, not remember if Jungles had 2 strikes on him. Definitely a check swing, and that moves Terrace all the way to third with 2 outs. Jungles now swings and tries to drop this one into right. Going back to make the play, though, is Frederick for out number 3. Elko gets out of it. It's still 7-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
about that? At the order, Danny Hector. Elko in the bottom of 7th. Second base for Mitch Frederickson.
Bottom 7, starting things off, is second baseman Mitch Frederickson. Mitch, the leadoff hitter in the lineup, walked his first time up, grounded out his last 2 times up. 7-2 our score. Cold Spring in command. And Nick Pennick, the starter, he has pitched every inning for Cold Spring in this tournament so far. 8-inning complete game, 10-run game in the opener against Anoka, and he has battled here today. Now they do have action in the bullpen. Remember, they're going to need arms again tomorrow if they're going to move on, or if they do move on to the second round or third round and play a second game this weekend. Play the winner of our nightcap here at the Joe. It'll be Dundas and the Moorhead Brewers. Much anticipated matchup between those two traditional powers. Pennick probably not available tomorrow, but his pitch count running up there a little bit here. So Dave Hinkmeyer at some point might have to go to the bullpen. Pennick has just 1 clean inning. It was in the 6th. He got a 1-2-3 inning. But right back to the top of the order. And Elko gets a runner on right away again. So here's Barth, that's short. He's going to go to first. The tremendous shortstop making plays out there for Cold Spring. He's had a great afternoon. Makes the heady play there to scoop and throw. Moving down to second base in scoring position is Frederick. And Dylan Thomas, big slugger in the middle of this order for Elko, steps to the dish. He's had an active day as well. Singled and eventually caught stealing on the double steal. He was caught at home and he shatters the handle of the bat. Fox will take care of it at second base. Thomas takes the handle all the way down with him. He's going to go pick up the rest of his bat now. Dangerous play there. That bat went all the way back to the mound. Pennick was able to clear out. Fuchs makes the play at second, so 2 outs. Frederick moves up to third. Frustration from Thomas. Nothing you can really do about that. He snapped the bat at the handle. Travis Evanson steps up. Evanson and that RBI single back in the first inning. He's also singled in the 3rd and had another RBI single in the 5th. So Frederickson, and he's going to get another one here. He has knocked in all 3 runs for Elko. And he is 4 for 4 on the day. Pennick not able to dance out of danger this inning. Elko pushes another one across to get back within 4. After falling behind 7-1, Elko just continues to try to chip away here. Ash Larson's turn now. He is 0 for 3.
Left fielder Ash Larson.
What a game here by Evanson. Nothing flashy, but he's knocked in all 3 runs. Pennick fires that one past Larson. 2-2 the count. Evanson standing on first. 2 outs. Elko's pushed 1 across here in the bottom of the 7th. Trying to claw their way back into this contest. Pennick. Check swing. High and tight in the inside. Pennick Runs down to first, flips it over to Terrace. Out number 3 through 7. It's Cold Spring 7, Elko 3. Folks, last summer's Emmy-nominated documentary, Town Ball Uniquely Minnesota, is now available on Amazon Prime. Watch all 8 episodes and learn about the more than 100-year history of amateur baseball in Minnesota. A lot of history on the field here with Cold Spring Springers. They want to bring home a 10th state title. Last time they brought home the gold, back-to-back titles in 13 and 14. '58 tournament appearances for Cold Spring, and they're trying to get into the double elimination round in a matchup tomorrow with the winner of our next game, which will be Dundas taking on the Moorhead Brewers. Chanhassen and Miesville already through into the double elimination. Strike 3 called, and Nick Dorfman making quick work of Brian Hansen. Hansen not happy with that call. But a quick out for Dorfman. And Dorfman is, again, we mentioned, but he is settled in here. Came in relief in the 4th inning. Not giving up a run to Cold Spring since being touched for 2 in the top of the 5th. Makes quick work of Hansen here. So now it's the number 2 hitter, Garrett Fox. And that strike zone opening up a bit here late in the contest. 0-1 the count. Ripping that one into center, and Thomas thought about maybe making a dive for it. Instead, it drops in front of him, is able to knock it down. So Fox held to a single. And that'll bring up Jordan Barth. Can they get Jordan out? That is the big question for Elko right now. Barth is 4 for 4 with 3 singles, a double and 2 runs scored. Absolutely impossible to get out here for Elko. He's also played a really nice shortstop. He's got a runner on first with 1 out. It is the top of the 8th inning. Oh, Barth hits that one high to left, and he can't find it. And I think it just dropped foul. Wow. What a strange play there. Is Ash Larson, he didn't really move. And the way Barth swung on it, I think he thought maybe it was gone. So we kind of had a interesting string of events there. But so Larson loses it, and fortunately for Elko, it does drop just foul. After all that, it dropped probably about 3 inches outside the line. So it's a 1-1 count now on Barth. And Barth thought maybe he got all that one. Few home runs in that Miesville game earlier, and of course Hansen led off this game with a home run. That was in the park and just fouled. 2-1 the count now. That definitely would have been the icing on the cake for Barth in this game. Still got a chance to do some damage here. 1 out, 2-1 the count, 7-3 game. Barth to short, and there will be nobody out. We'll see how they score this one. As Blasing kind of let that eat him up a little bit if they've already posted the error. There it is, E6. So Barth on base for the 5th time. Will not get credit with the hit.
Right fielder Joe Dempsey.
And with 1 out, it is now 2 on, 1st and 2nd, to be exact, for Joe Dempsey. Dempsey 3 for 4. He's got 3 singles and an RBI. Fouled overhead. Clangs off this extended grandstand here, which I'm very thankful for when there's inclement weather, which we had in the very first game of the tournament against Chanhassen taking on St. Michael. That was that suspended game. It's the only time that weather has played a factor here so far in the tournament. Two the count to Dempsey. Dorfman to the plate. Full count now. Swung on and drilled to the backstop. So Dempsey just missing that one. Springer's offense on display here in the first 2 rounds of this tournament. 10 runs last week against Anoka. 7 more runs, 14 hits so far. Runners are going, and it's ball 4. So the throw from Fredrickson down to third base was in time, but ball 4, bases loaded, and still 1 out. Does Terry Fredrickson make the move to the bullpen? He will. Fredrickson taking the long walk up, and we'll see what he decides to do here. Dorfman has done a pretty good job here in relief, but running into trouble. Bases juiced. They 1 out. Drew Bolson, the catcher, will come up, a dangerous hitter. A lengthy meeting on the mound, and I think he's going to stay with Dorfman for now. So Fredrickson out to talk things over. We'll stick with Dorfman. We'll keep the action here. So bases loaded, 1 out, 7-3 ball game. Drew Bolson stepping to the dish. First pitch is outside. Bolson flew out, then back-to-back singles before grounding out in the 6th inning his last time up. He's also scored a run in this contest. Tries to fist one in right, and this one actually drifting back on Thomas. He makes the catch, runner's tag, and another runner in for Cold Spring. As Fox comes in from third, and that makes it an 8-3 game. Getting it done is Bolson on the sac fly RBI. Moving up to third on that play, by the way, is Barth. Actually, both runners move up. Dempsey scampered down to second as well. So we have Thomas being driven back near the warning track. That ball just kept carrying. Drew Van Looy now steps in. 1-1 the count after Van Looy swings through that one. 2 on, 2 out. Van Looy swings away, fouls it back to the right side. Van Looy walked with bases loaded back in the 4th inning. He's also struck out twice here. 1-2 the count. Swings and misses. Dorfman gets out of it. Stranding runners on second and third, but Cold Spring pushes one across, so 8-3 our score as we head to the bottom half of 8.
What's special about high school sports? The passion, the excitement, the memories.
Down on 3 at the buzzer. Good! It's good! Du Bois wins it for the Rebels.
It's about impacting your community, connecting your business to this audience. This is where your customers live, where they shop. This is their circle of life. This is where your business should be. Connect with your best potential customers. This is your invitation. Get in the game.
Move on to the bottom of the 8th here at Joe Schlepper Stadium. Elko running out of outs. And they're going to see a new pitcher, a familiar face, Zach Femright, the former ace for Cold Spring. And I say former lightly just because he hasn't started in each game here. And again, Nick Pennick had thrown every single inning up to this point for Cold Spring here in the opening 2 rounds. Zach Femright, former star pitcher here for Cold Spring. Now coming in relief out of the bullpen. And he gets a high sky to Barth at short. That takes care of the designated hitter Jason Grimm for the first out. Femright, former all-tournament member. And I don't have the exact the exact info on it, but I believe Femright also maybe a tournament MVP at one point. I'm going to try to find some information there for you. Femright quickly coming in and throwing strikes. So 1-1 the count, and now he hits a batter. It's Mike Frederickson, the catcher. He walks down to first. Carson Blasing, the shortstop, will come up now. 0 for 2 for Carson. with a pinch runner coming in for Fredrickson. Coming off the bench to run is Michael Rasmussen. Femright to Blasing, 0-1 the count.
Running down second base, Mike Jones, Radford.
So now 2 runners on, so Femright comes in. And running into a bit of trouble, 1 out, first and second for Kyle Kraska, the third baseman for Elko. Femright asking the umpire where he thought that one was. He goes right back to that same spot, and again, it's a ball. 2-0 the count. So Femright, the ace for over 2 decades for this Cold Spring squad, giving away to some of the younger arms here as Femright continues to pound that outside corner. This time he gets the call, 2-1 the count. Femright joined the team in 1998, 23rd summer of amateur baseball. He gets Kraska to swing through that one, 2-2 the count, trying to work out of a jam here. So quickly able to grab some info here on the changing of the guard, so to speak, on the pitching staff this season for Cold Spring. But here is Femright back into a familiar position. Trying to pitch his team to victory, coming in relief. It's a full count. Inside pitch, and he gets the call. Strike 3. Kraska will walk back to the dugout. 2 outs now. Back to the top of the lineup to Mitch Frederick. Frederick walked and scored his last time up.
Second base for Mitch Frederick.
On the count on Frederick. Pennick with the younger arms, St. John's University. Getting them to, are through. First 15 innings of this state tournament. He's pitched really well. And I'm going to leave it to the veteran Femright to come in and try to close it. Take Cold Spring into the second or the third round. We'll turn around and play again tomorrow. Swung on and driven high, just outside the our short center field, rather. And Barth, the shortstop, calls everybody off and makes the grab. Barth has been busy. Femright gets out of the jam. It's still 8-3. So we head to the 9th inning in our Class B second round matchup. We're through 8 innings here at the Joe Schlepper Stadium, Cold Spring, trying to nail down this victory over Elko. 8-3 is our score. And Brad Olson, the left fielder, will lead things off for Cold Spring in the top of the 9th inning. Nick Dorfman still in for Elko. Now officially in his 6th inning of relief. Saw Zach Femright come in to relieve Nick Pennick. Femright only the 2nd pitcher used to this point for Cold Spring in the tournament. The former tournament MVP, ace of the staff. Now doing bullpen duty, and you never know, you might see him tomorrow as well. The veteran staff ace, 2 decades, but some young kids. Pennick pitching at St. John's. And he's been good in this tournament as Dorfman now faces a 3-1 count on Brad Olson. Olson with a 2 RBI double back in the 4th inning. The count now goes full. Swung on and staying alive. Cold Spring Springers. Olson's going to try to find a hole. He does in left. Will he push it for 2? No, he'll hold. So a leadoff single for Cold Spring. Mentioned Cold Spring finished the regular season with a 12-9 record. I don't know if you can really determine much from the regular season this year. Obviously, amateur league kind of left scrambling there. Not a lot of guidance from the government here in Minnesota, so they just kind of said, we're going out and we're playing. Some teams were a little bit more aggressive, like the Moorhead Brewers able to go over to North Dakota and play ball over there, so they've got pretty much a full schedule in. We'll talk more about that in the next broadcast as they play our next game against Dundas. And some teams, the Cold Spring, just 12-9 on the year as that one skips off of the glove and into right field, sliding in safely is Olson at second. He had to retreat after it looked like that line drive would be caught by Frederick, but it gets away from him. We'll see how they decide to score it. Now they're going to give him a hit. So that's Jaron Terrace's 2nd hit of the game. Back-to-back singles to open the 9th. And there's still nobody out with Alex Jungles stepping up. Jungles had an RBI single in the 4th inning. He is 1 for 4 on the day. 16 hits now for Cold Spring. Putting up some impressive offensive numbers so far in the tournament. Totaling 18 runs in their 2 games so far. As Jungles fights that one off to right, and it'll go foul off the bullpen. So 1-1 count now on Jungles. And Cold Spring, they're taking out the Moorhead Mudcats on region play. Did a little seeding play, East Grand Forks. They beat them. We saw the Mass down here in the opener. A state tournament team. Eventually falling to the Moorhead Brewers. So it's the number 2 seed out of the region for Cold Spring. And if they win this game, there's a shot getting out a chance to take on their rivals, or regional rivals. Hot shot to short. Nice play by Blazing. Can he get the out at second? He can. Nice job by Carson over there at shortstop. As Jungles hit that one hard. Olson moves up to 3rd on the play. A fielder's choice for Jungles. Runners at the corners, back to the top of the lineup. Here is Brian Hansen. Hansen, good a start as you can get. A leadoff home run in this game, but he is 0 for 4 since. Hammers one to left. Will it stay fair is the question. No, it won't. Hansen, the leadoff home run to get things started, get this offensive onslaught started for Cold Spring here this afternoon. Then flew out in the third and the fourth, struck out in the sixth, struck out his last time up looking in the eighth. He was ready to hit this at bat, but it goes foul, 0-1 the count. That one will find a hole on the left side. Coming in to score is Olson. And Hansen, a hit in the first inning, and an RBI, and a hit in an RBI in the ninth inning. Nice bookend to his day as Terrace moves to second. One out, first and second for the Springers, and now a 9-3 advantage. Going to bring up Garrett Fox. I can tell you right now, Dorfman does not want to face the guy on deck. See if he can induce some kind of ground ball and get out of this thing. And Jordan Barth standing on deck. He's been on base 5 times today. Fox singled and scored in the 8th inning. So he steps into this at bat, 1 for 5 on the day. So Dorfman will continue to battle. 1 out, 2 on, 1 run in for the Springers. Swung on and missed. 1-1 the count. High fly to center. Thomas measures, gets under it, checks the runner, and holds the runner. 2 outs, runner still at first and second. Now the aforementioned Jordan Barth stepping to the plate. Now Jordan reached on an error his last time up. So he's 4 for 5 on the day, but he did get on base, so 5 times on base. And he has scored 2 runs. He does not have an RBI yet. Runner in scoring position and 2 outs here against Dorfman. Nice pitch by Dorfman. 0-1 the count. Painting that outside corner. Ooh, another nice one. Looked like Barth was maybe thinking of a different pitch. Lets it go by, 0-2. Staying alive is Barth as he hacks at that one. Bounces near the Cold Spring dugout. The ball boy running out to snag it. Ball boy wearing those home Springer uniforms. Classics. Outside, 1-2 the count. And I can see the Moorhead Brewers are gathering by their dugout, getting ready for their contest. Also in the running for top uniforms in the tournament, in my opinion. Swung on. High fly to left. Can it be caught? Thomas on the run, and he gets there. Cold Spring still able to get 1 more across. Major breathing room. A 6-run lead heading to the bottom of the 9th. Last chance for Elko coming up. What a luxury for Dave Hinkmeyer, the manager of Cold Spring, coming into this year. He's got some young guns out of that rotation. We've seen Nick Pennick, the St. John's youngster. 15 really solid innings here so far in the state tournament. And then, oh, by the way, I can turn to one of the top pitchers over the last 20 years in state amateur ball here in Minnesota, Zach Femright, to come out of the bullpen and try to finish things off. And mentioned it last inning, but potentially see Zach again tomorrow. Cold Spring can get the final 3 outs here with a 6-run cushion. Femright, a former tournament MVP out of the bullpen. Tell that to a manager coming into a tournament like this. He's going to like his chances. Cold Spring liking their chances of moving on to the Final Four here. The Final Four portion of the bracket takes place tomorrow. That is the double elimination part. The first 2 rounds are loser go home. Femright up in the count. 1-2 now. Ryan Bastier, the right fielder for Elko, trying to keep the Express alive here. Bastier is 1 for 4. He scored a run. And again, Nick Pennick going the first 7 innings today for Cold Spring. He went all 8 in the 10-run rule victory over Anoka in round 1. Final numbers on Pennick, by the way. 7 innings pitched. Did give up 8 hits, 3 runs, struck out 4, walked 4, but he battled inning after inning out there for Cold Spring. And strike 3 called on Bastier. Elko down to 2 outs. And Dylan Thomas, the number 3 hitter, up. And watches ball 1 come across. Thomas been active in center field the last couple innings, covering a lot of ground out there. Base hit and a walk for Thomas here today. Another inside pitch, 2-0 the count. Pitching Femright. I guess you call him the former ace of Cold Spring. Some of the youngsters taking over. He's come in relief. Struck out 2 of the first 4 batters he's faced here in relief. But he is 3-0 right now on Thomas. Thomas runs down to first base, a 4-pitch walk. In last inning in relief. 2 runners on against Femright. So as we saw with Pennick, Pennick only had 1 1-2-3 inning in this contest. Elko just could not break him, especially early on when the game was still 1-1. In the second and third inning, runners in scoring position with only 1 out. And both times Pennick able to work out of it. One and one the count to Travis Evanson. He has been the best hitter here today, and he hammers one to left. Tough spot out there with the sun right now. We've seen that here this afternoon. It's to the wall. Evanson in with a double. I assume they'll give him the double. Tough play out there. That's Brad Olson in left battling the sun. And don't call this one yet as Evanson rips a double to the left field wall. Runners on second and third with 1 out. Now we saw Ash Larson, who now steps to the dish. He plays left field for Elko. We saw him struggle a couple times out there. That sun brutal right now. As it starts to go down in the horizon, right into the left fielder's eyes. Femright's going to try to work out of this one as Larson rips one down the third base line, but foul. And Evanson, by the way, we talked about Barth having a game. How about Evanson? 5 for 5 here today. In the heart of that order for Elko. 9 hits the Express have bashed out. It's just getting those timely runs, and they're going to try to get some here. That one was close, but 1-1 the count. So Femright asking where that one missed. Again, 1 out, runners on second and third. Ash Larson at the plate. Ash to left. It's going to be a tough one again, but Jordan Barth coming from shortstop and hauls it in for out number 2. Barth taking nothing for granted out there. That sun is so tough. He could read it better off the bat, and you can see Larson out there again, instantly just trying to shield that sun and find the ball. They're not seeing the ball off the bat, and the left fielders aren't right now. We'll see if that plays in on their next game as well. Obviously, the sun will be down shortly after that, so it'd have to be an early inning issue. Elko down to its final out now, and it's Jason Grimm, the DH, stepping in. He has 1 hit, came back in the second inning. Second and third. Femright on the mound for Cold Spring, trying to close it out. 0-1 the count. Just a hair outside, 1-1. Thomas running up the line, and this one goes to left again. Barth is going to give it chase again. It's going to drop in. 2 runs will score. They missed the cutoff on the throw in, so taking second is Grimm. I'm going to guess that's a single, 2 RBI single for Grimm. But Elko suddenly back within 4 runs here. Now there are 2 outs. So still not a tremendous situation for Elko by any means, but they keep knocking it out to left there. Olsen he can't see the ball off the bat. Barth is doing his best to run out there from shortstop, but couldn't get there for that one. 10 hits now for Elko, 5 runs in. Still down to their final out as Mike Fredrickson steps in. Catcher was hit his last time up. And that, by the way, was last inning against Femright. So kind of an interesting turn of events here with the sun helping the hitters here in the later innings. And that one's ripped to left side, and Barth was holding the runner on, so he can't get there. 2-out single by Fredrickson. Runners on the corners. Still 2 out. Femright's going to have to work for it here. Carson Blasing steps to the plate. Blasing reached his last time up. Had a sac bunt back in the first. It's now 11 hits for Elko. We have 26 combined hits here this afternoon. Ball 1. That one hit the first. Terrace has it, says, I will take it for out number 3. Cold Spring moves on with a 9-5 victory over Elko. Now the Springers bats came to play here today. 17 hits, 9 runs. They score 4 runs in the 4th, 2 runs in the 5th. Get some separation here from Elko, and the Express never able to recover, so Cold Spring will move on in the bracket. They will play tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Right back here at Joe Schlepper Stadium against the winner of Dundas and the Moorhead Brewers. That is our next game. Nick Pennick, winning pitcher, 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, 4 base on balls. The hitting star for Cold Spring, Jordan Barth, he had 4 hits, scored 2 runs. And Travis Evanson, 5 hits for Elko in a losing effort. And Elko's season comes to an end. Cold Spring will get at least 2 more games. They move on now to the double elimination portion of the bracket. We thank you so much for joining us for live state amateur baseball, the state tournament right here on PrepSpotlight.tv. It's been a blast, and we've got another one coming up. So stay right here with us, Dundas and the Moorhead Brewers. A 7 o'clock first pitch scheduled right here on PrepSpotlight.tv. Thank you for joining us for live state amateur baseball.